Today's topic, video interview, Antigua Distillery. I think I repeated that over and over. I'm super excited. Guest, Calbert Francis. This is a guy he's become a really good friend of mine. When you read about him, it's super, so you admire even him more because self-taught bartender who moved through the ranks in the hospitality industry in Antigua. He graduated from bartender to mixology, to a bar supervisor, then to a bar manager, worked in promotion for the local liquor distributor company called Premier Beverages. Then from promotion coordinating, he moved into brand management with the Antigua Distillery. Today, he is the VP of sales and marketing for the U.S. market. But there's even more. More people are joining us. Mario Wade, I'm sure a lot of people I've never met them. Mario Wayne, Master Blender, is going to join us. We'll see who it is. Sheldon Tucker, Production Director, he's also joining us. Jerry Bento, family, part of the company, Production Director, also joining us. John Ferris, but it's like those infomercial. But wait, there's more. But now we have John Ferris, Cellar Master, joining us, and Diane Joseph, Distillery Manager, joining us as well. Well, let's get the rum education beginning. Enough said. Let's bring on Calbert Francis. All right, Calbert, how are you, man?
I'm good, Fede. How are you?
I'm doing super well. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and giving us all this.
Welcome to my.
There's a lot of people here that are just keep on joining us and seeing it on Facebook, and they're super excited to see this because you guys are you don't have a tour. This is not open to the public.
Yeah, we don't do tours for the public. We only do it in order to get into our distillery. You have to know somebody who knows somebody in order to get it. So
I know
the reason we don't do tours. Pardon me?
I know someone.
The reason. Oh yeah, you know someone. Actually, you know a couple of people well, so you're good. Yeah. So the thing about it, our distillery is a real small distillery. It's still set up in its original location, so it was never set up to do tours and stuff like that. So for safety reasons, we can't conduct commercial tours coming through, but we do some industry training for bartenders. If we have journalists and that sort of stuff, people doing features, yes, we open up our doors to them. But you can't just come to the island and say, hey, I want to come and see the distillery and get to see the distillery. Like I said, you have to know somebody who knows somebody in order to get it. So to everybody who's watching, I'd like to say welcome to my sunny island. Look at the beautiful sky above me. And to the Antigua Distillery. Right here.
All right, I want to make
where we've been. Yeah.
Let me see if I can make this bigger.
So I'm standing outside the distillery, and I'm gonna give you a little brief history before we go inside to see where all the magic happens. And normally I'm the one who speaks about all the magic, but I decided I'm gonna take a break today and let the real professionals handle, all the information about the production and blending and all that sort of stuff, and I'll take a backseat. I'll just tell you about the history, right?
So I have a comment to say. You have 83 people. You have 83 people on the group chat right now that's saying that they know someone already. You already have 83 new friends. I'm calling you. You have 83 new friends.
Wow. Oh boy. So about the Antigua Distillery, right? The Antigua Distillery was founded in 1932 and incorporated in 1933, and founded by 8 indentured servants who we said got stranded on the island of Antigua and Barbuda. So I don't know how much our listeners really know about indentured servants, but you had 3 such indentured servants who came to the Caribbean to continue sugar production. And so you had the Asians who went to Jamaica. You had the Indians who went further south to Guyana and Trinidad. That's why there is such a heavy ethnicity with the Indian background in Trinidad and Guyana. And then you had the Europeans who settled further north. Now, a lot of the Europeans who came to the island because Antigua is so hot and so dry, right? They suffered from heat stroke. And our founders who came from the island of Madeira, they decided that this work was just too labor intensive for them. And so they said, to hell with this. You keep your job and we'll find something else to do. So in order to make a living, what our guys did, they started to buy local alcohol and started making their own blends and sold them in rum shops that's now in the capital city of Antigua and Barbuda, St. John's. And that's what they did to make a living. And so they figured since Antigua had so much molasses, right, so much sugar, there must be an abundance of molasses. So why not pool their resources together to form their own distillery? And between the 8 guys, they were able to raise 2,700 pounds, and that's what they used to start the distillery. So when they approached the government, the colonial government for land at the time, they thought it was a fabulous idea, but they didn't want to give them any land on the mainland of Antigua to do this distillery. So what they did, they stuck them on this little island. So where I'm standing right now, this used to be an island by itself, right? So they stuck them on this little island off the coast of Antigua. It was only connected by a causeway, and it was called the Rat Island. So I'm gonna switch my camera around just to show you a bit of what Rat Island looks like. So if you can see right at the top of that hill, that's where there was an old fort called the Citadel. And this big black tank right here, that's actually our molasses tank. And so they stuck us on an island with soldiers. And in this time of COVID, where everybody's talking about quarantine and all that sort of stuff, the island was an isolation area for people who had leprosy. So that's where they said, go ahead and do your distillery, right? So after the distillery was built and we started doing production and getting into expansion and that sort of stuff, we in the 1940s, the company was able to buy its own estate called Mount Pellier Estate. That's on the eastern side of the island. And when we do the tasting later on, I'm gonna have a bottle to show you from the first rum that the distillery ever made, which was called Muscovado Cavalier rum. So that is something that you are gonna wanna stick around for, right? And so, right where we are now, all of this land, like I said, it used to be an island by itself. It's no longer an island, right? It's now joined to the mainland because right across the street, which I'm gonna change my camera again, this is the Deepwater Harbor. So after the port development went up, all the dredge material they used to backfill the area and join it to the mainland. And so we have pipelines running underground. So when our molasses boat comes in, we just hook up from the molasses boat right over by the port and we pump into this big molasses tank back here. And this is where our levers are running on the ground straight over to the port, all the way back up to our molasses tank. So that's just a little brief history on our distillery. What we're gonna do now is that we're gonna go inside where I will introduce you to Jerry Bento, who is our production director. And not only our production director, but Jerry's grandfather was one of the founding members of the Antigua Distillery. And so he's been in this distillery from since he was about 9 years old. And you guys have always heard me talking about the still that we have. And it's a hybrid or a combination or fusion between our first still, our Saval column, and our John Doe still. And Jerry was actually very instrumental in the installation of those 2 John Doe columns and the modification and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna find Jerry now and just do a brief introduction with him before we go on to our master distiller, who is Sheldon Tucker, who will go through all the details. Hey, and let me tell you, right, today you're gonna be able to see, because the still is down for scheduled maintenance, you'll be able to see inside of one of our columns, and we have another one of our columns here in pieces that you'll get to see as well. So guys, you definitely want to stay around for that one. So let me run and get Jerry right now. All right, here comes the superstar Jerry Bento. I'm not hearing you, Fede.
So, thank you so much. You're right. I want to say something really important. Calbert and I have been talking about this like for the last 2 months to like get this ready, and we were waiting for. We just like had it together, like internet, put all the pieces together, and then Calbert obviously made the magic happen. And here we are today. But enough said. I'd love to meet Jerry, and everybody would like to meet Jerry here now.
All right. So everybody, I want to introduce you to none other, right, than our own Jerry Bento, who is one of the direct descendants of the founders of the company. And like I said, he's been working in this distillery since he was about 9 years old. I kid you not. So I turn it over to Jerry.
Hi guys, what's up? How are you guys doing? I can hardly hear it.
No, stop.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Jerry? You can only see one person, but there's 90 people connected, or almost 89 people connected here, seeing you as well.
Well, just 1 second. Sharon, lock off them phones.
All right, 1 second. We're gonna turn on some of this noise in the background.
Okay. Wait, don't stop producing rum.
Oh, good. Go ahead, Fede.
Yeah, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, Jerry, nice to meet you. I want to say that there's over 89 people that want to meet you, are very happy to meet you as well. But we certainly appreciate you been taking the time, and everybody at Antigua Distillery putting this together, because we've never met many of you guys, which this is very special. Oh, I think we have a frozen moment. Let me send a text message really quickly to Calbert. Calbert, refresh. Camera. Refresh camera. There you go. Let's see if there you go. Okay, he's refreshing. He's coming back, because we do want to know Jerry very well, but we don't need to know his forehead that well. Unless we don't have telepathic energy to understand what he's thinking about rum production. I don't. All right, let me wait. So as I was saying, today is very important, right? Because Calbert, they don't have really good Wi-Fi over there, or internet. And then Calbert went to the different companies to program and to see how can they get more bandwidth. And basically took 2 months to make this happen. Just waiting any second for him to sign up. I'm sorry. I see a lot of people saying that I got funny jokes, but I don't. There we go.
All right, Fede.
Calbert. All right.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, we had a little technical glitch a while ago, but we're back.
It's back.
Yeah. So I've been around here for a while. This piece of column here, we're just doing some repairs. This I put up in 1991, and now we're doing a little repairs to it. It's been there as a piece of a John Doe still. It's been there since 1991. But I'll let my other guy go into more detail on the machinery aspect of it. History, here was just an island, as I'm sure Calbert told you. I remember coming down here when I was 9. I remember it was much smaller, much different. But we've been there. My grandfather was one of the original 6 members that started the.
Oh no. All right. Another frozen moment. Let's just wait 1 second. I do have some rums that I'm gonna try today. I got the English Harbour 5 years. They're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but I got the English Harbour 5 years. They have a series of it's called the Cask Finish Collection. I do have this one, which is the Sherry Cask. I'm sure Scott, that you're connected, you have it as well, and plus the 10 years reserve. But we're gonna talk about this a little bit later with Calbert when he's able to connect. I'm gonna give you, for sure, this is might continue happening. It's gonna be a little bit bumpy, and but we'll be back. He'll be back. Dun, 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 dun. I have not. I see Christine asking if I have been at the Antigua Distillery. I have not. I want to. There's so many islands I haven't gone to.
Yeah,
there we go. Here we are. Back.
I'm just putting my phone on do not disturb right now because the phone calls keep coming in and knocking me off. That is our problem. So I know Jerry was explaining to you guys his connection and everything with the company. Who I have here now with us is Sheldon, who's our master blender, who's going to take a master distiller, sorry, who's going to take us through a tour of our columns and the different equipment that we have here at the distillery. So here we go. Here's Sheldon. Sheldon, talk up.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. So Sheldon has been with the company for about the last 2 years, and he came over from the island of Jamaica. But he is, let me tell you, when he knows his stuff about distillation. And it's been a pleasure working alongside Sheldon, you know, to put out some of these rums that these guys put out here on the still. So I'll pass it over to Sheldon, and we will go around and show you what's happening here at the distillery.
Calbert, you gotta tell your girlfriends to stop calling you, man.
Yeah, I know. And the thing about all of them got the memo that I was gonna be doing this stuff live today. Okay. All right. So let me hand it over to Sheldon.
Okay.
All right.
The first part of the tour is the fermentation. For distillation starts at fermentation. Then we have distillation. In the fermentation process, we first start at the propagation tank. This is where we add the yeast.
A little bit closer, Calbert. Get a little bit closer.
Get a little bit closer, sorry.
Oh,
all right. Go
sorry
ahead.
about that. So starting from the top, we have fermentation, then we have distillation. So the first process is fermentation. And in the fermentation process, we first start with the propagation tank or the propagation stage. This is where we add our molasses and our yeast and our diammonium phosphate. The diammonium phosphate is for the food, for the yeast to eat, and also inside of the molasses we have sugars as well. So what happens is in this tank here, this propagation tank, the yeast sits in this tank for 12 hours. This is where it increases in count, and also it starts to adjust itself to the climate or the condition of producing alcohol in the state of being in a diluted molasses mixture. After the 12 hours, we transfer this tank of diluted molasses with these cells to our fermentation tank.
Okay, so before we get to fermentation, Fede, I just want to let you know, right? Here in the distillery, we have names for a lot of the equipment that's here, right? Affectionate names. So these two tanks, right? These propagation tanks, we call them bub tanks affectionately here, because when the germination is taking place, you feel all the bubbling that's taking place inside of the tank when you put your hands on it, and you feel the warming of the tank and everything. And so yeah. So affectionately, we call them our bub tank. So we have bub tank 1 and bub tank 2. All right. So
Okay.
back over to Sheldon.
After the 12 hours now, we transfer the bub tank to the fermentation tank. We basically have 3 fermentation tanks because our process is a continuous process, a 24-hour process. So we need 24. We need all 3 fermenters to maintain the still running at 24 hours, 7 days a week. So when we finish mixing each fermenter, it takes between 36 to 48 hours to die or to cease activity. At the end of that activity, we normally get about 5.5% or 6.7% alcohol. Then from this stage now, after this liquid is dead, we call it a wash. We transfer this wash to the still. So we come over here. So now we are at the second process. This is distillation now. This is where we try to convert the wash into alcohol, try to convert that alcohol in the type of alcohol that we want to produce. If it is for aging, if it is for white rum, if it is for vodka or anything. So what we do now is that the wash comes in from the top of the still. When it comes in from the top of the still, we have downstairs, we have a heat exchanger downstairs. We also have a boiler. The boiler provides the heat for the boiling of the wash to strip or remove the alcohol from the wash. So what happens is that it goes through the heat exchanger, comes up to the top, enters the first column. Our first column is called the purifying column. Normal columns are 3 still columns, but because of how special our column is, we have basically 5 columns. But all 5 columns does the same process as a 3 still column. So the first stage of our column is the purifying column. When the wash enters the purifying column, which is preheated from the heat exchanger downstairs, it enters and then the heat enters under the bottom, the steam enters under the bottom, and the wash comes down. When the wash hits the steam, the wash starts to get heated up, starts to get hotter. At this time now, this column, mostly it's used to remove carbon dioxide, remove any insoluble stuff inside of the wash. Reason being, when we get molasses at about, sometimes we get it at 10% more. And we don't want that. So this column is the workoff. This is where all of that tends to happen. As you can see, we're cleaning. If you came at that time when we just started cleaning, this column would be the dirtiest of all columns. Because this column is where most of the sludge and most of the mud stays in. But this column, as I said earlier, because of the fact that we have 5 columns, this column has 2 parts, 2 functions. But I will not tell you the second function, I tell you the first, which is to remove the alcohol, remove the mud, heat up the wash. Then it leaves from this column to the bottom and goes through a pump. This pump now sends it to the middle of this column, which is called the analyzing column. As before, the steam enters at the bottom, comes up, the wash comes down on this way. So what happens is that we have trays and we have downcomers, as you can see. So the steam enters at the bottom, hits the bottom of the tray, comes up, and then we have the downcomers on the side where the wash comes down.
So this right here would be the downcomer. That pipe right there. And these are the plates right back here that it moves across. So what you're actually seeing now is inside of one of our columns. So you can see the plate right there at the bottom. Now the plate at the top, and downcomers right there in the back.